good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome to the garden. Welcome to Garden Conversations with Rose on today, Saturday, May 14th, 2022. It seems as if the month of May has flown by with astronomical speed, since in the next few days we'll be halfway through the month of May, looking down the barrel to welcome and usher in the greatest month of the year, the month of my birth, the month of June. However, today we are focusing on mental health awareness, since in the month of May we always think about mental health awareness. Today we are focusing on mental health as it relates to men. I wish to state here now, however, that I am neither a psychologist nor am I a psychiatrist, and so I'm not purporting to offer any expert advice or determine what causes men to do what they do. I am just here to give a few suggestions and tips and ask questions and suggest that we need to think a little more about our men, since as a mature woman over 50, I have witnessed, noticed, experienced, observed, listened to a number of situations and activities that tell me our men need a lot of help. And it's not to say that women themselves do not need help. It isn't to say that women do not have issues with their mental health. It is just that I want to focus on our men. I have 10 brothers, all older than I am. I am a mother of 2 sons. I have a lot of male past students and current students. I have been an educator for over 36 years and worked with men and boys at both the primary and secondary levels. I have seen so many situations where our men are not dealing with situations. Just a little while back in our own little island, a mature man my age died by suicide. Not long after that, 3 young boys brutally and savagely attacked another young man like themselves and left him at the roadside, practically dead or almost dead, as if his life simply meant nothing. Another one within the school setting, in full view of teachers and other students, attacked a fellow male student, stabbing him 7 times. And I myself witnessed or was able to be aware of a situation in my own setting, my own workplace, where 2 young men haven't gotten into a little scuffle. One of them decided to go home and return with a cutlass. That speaks a lot about how they want to resolve conflicts. And what made me think more about it was that he returned with 2 adults, 2 older siblings, one of whom was a male. They did not seem to be very pleased. They didn't come to talk and have ice pop with the other youngster who their brother was in conflict with. I've also noticed that most of the persons on the roads and the streets of Antigua are men. Most of the persons who go to the soup kitchen are men. There is something to be said about our men and the state of their mental health. I know that society had traditionally told men that crying is not something that is manly, showing emotion. Men ought to be strong and hold it together. As a matter of fact, just about 3 years ago, in my own school, there was a group of young men who had been friends with a former classmate who had then migrated and later died by suicide. On hearing the news, many of the boys, I watched them struggle to bring forth their emotion. As a matter of fact, one young man said his daddy always told him that men don't cry. And he kept saying, "This is so tough. This is really tough for me." And he didn't want to cry. We didn't want to cry. We had to let those men know it was okay to let out the feelings. Something that society has told our young men. Our men, our boys are not able to deal with themselves. And it's not to say that women are having it easier. It isn't to say that women are not violent and don't get in scuffles and brawls, because I've seen many brawls among female students. I've seen grown women have brawls and fights. I've seen grown women get violent and angry and lash out. But there's something different about our men. Our men, they are the ones who tend to abuse alcohol and other substances more often. They are the ones who get violent in relationships, can't handle things so easily. They are, most of them tend to die by suicide. There is something to be said about our men. How are we helping our men? Those of us with spouses, significant others, male children, male siblings, and other relatives who are males. If we are honest with ourselves and we look at them, we will notice that they handle situations differently. I'm all for one's mental health to be at its top. I've always said that we must know what our triggers are, what takes us over the edge, what takes us down, and how we are able to deal with it. So I'm just throwing out something here to all of us to pay attention to. So you men out there who are listening to me, how are you dealing with situations? What are you doing to ensure that your mental health is on point? How are you handling situations when your peace of mind is not where it ought to be? What do you resort to doing? You women out there who are listening, have you noticed and observed your children who are boys? Have you noticed and observed your spouse, your significant other, your uncles, your dad? I'm not saying, once again, that women do not have situations, but I need us to look at our men. I noticed that during the height of COVID-19, a number of our men transitioned and expired from our presence. I'm not saying here that it was because of COVID-19. I don't know what it was, but it was rather interesting that particularly at this time, many men passed in our little society here in Antigua. I've often said that I think that men have an emotional man cave. There is a physical man cave that we hear talked about on TV where men need to have their game room and need to have the space to watch the TV with the guys. And that's quite fine. That's all right. That's very good. But I've often said that I think that men have an emotional man cave that they retreat into, sometimes fall asleep there, can't get out, get lost, aren't able to get out. Or sometimes when they come out, they don't even know what's going on. So many conversations must be had, so many things must be done. The mental health of our men is important. As a mother of two sons, as a wife, as a daughter of a dad who died by suicide, as an educator with so many male students that I see every day not handling situations, as a concerned human being, mental health of our men is very important to me. Our men are the ones we need to have around us because nature says there must be balance. On the spiritual side, our men ought to be there to help with nurturing of the children, to lead the way with the women right there, of course, helping them along, taking the lead when we need to. But our men are important. Our men are important to us. Mental health, wellness, peace of mind Emotional well-being is important for all humans, but today I wish to talk about all men. So let's think about that today as we go into another day and even into the upcoming week. You men out there, think about what I've said. Think about how you're dealing with yourself so that when you interact with both male and female, it is in a good way.